Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is kind of closing the loop a little bit on your deliverables from last week or your next steps, right? So what have you been specifically working on? Like, I know we talked about it, but from your experience, what are some of the things you feel that you've been pushing yourself toward more based on our deliverables?
As far as what's good first, what's been going good?
No, what are some of the things you have worked on, push yourself toward?
As far as the transition of rotating to the to the computer station and back.
So what are you trying to do that maybe in the past you weren't doing as much?
Narrating not to touch the computers, doing an MVB if the sky is to stand still with the computers. The level 0 is still the same. Urgency is still there. The whole piece was the not touching the computers, putting that in and making sure they're just waiting for another MVP. So I did do that. That was one of the things. Another one is narrating transition outside the door. I've been doing that, but I think I can do it more. And now that we changed that transition, I don't find myself doing it because, and I think it's me because I'm usually like a time person. I think that I'm lacking on the time of leaving. I got to get back to my 5 minutes because it throws me off pace when I'm not, at that time. So when I'm doing my last session of bringing them out, it's rushy, and then I think it's chaotic. I see the chaotic, but it could have been for the last couple of days.
No.
But I feel like it's not tight. It's not like it was last week, and I feel like I need to fix that.
Yeah.
Because and I told Speedwalk that I didn't. We changed it. I told her I didn't like it, but she likes it. So it's me against them.
So good. You mean to go as a class?
Yeah. I don't like it because I feel like it's chaotic. But.
Okay, so I think you did a pretty good job remembering the things you've been working on. You've been pretty honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So let's start by celebrating some of the things you've been able to do, because it's really important when you coach to start from there. Definitely, you have worked a lot harder at sticking to giving MVP followed by at least 3 narration before any reset or redo. And I would say for most of what you do in class, not just certain things, like in the past, it was maybe you were more comfortable narrating right after they started to do now.
Right.
Or right after they're starting taking notes would be the time when you think about it. But there were other times like transitions or outside where that was not necessarily what you were going to.
Right.
So you've been working at building that habit. There was a little setback that day when you came back from lunch and you told me, I tried this, didn't work.
Yeah.
And we had this little conversation together about that. Ever since, I've noticed a really consistent work around that. Plus, you've added things that seem to have stuck for you, which is following the narration by things such as what we call the group correction.
Right.
So I've heard you today say things like, I've got 95% of scholars, I'm missing 5%. Fix it, right? Or I've heard you sometimes say, I just have one voice that needs to stop.
Yes, I've been working on that too, yeah.
So I think that sequence, I would love to review it with you today so that it becomes even more natural and it can be more of a habit. And since you're bringing it up, I think it would be great to see if we can take some of that to end of the day, like the packing out procedures, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like that moment right there brings some chaos and then you carry that out. And that's not necessarily a good way to end your day.
No.
Right?
I haven't liked it in a couple of days.
So why don't we start by reviewing our steps of the MVP and such and such.
Okay.
And then we can take this to the end of the day.
Okay.
And the transition out. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is revisit our sequence.
Okay.
Okay?